In the top stories, Prime Minister Drew calls for urgent action on non-communicable diseases in St. Kitts and Nevis. Over 3,000 registered to vote in Montserrat's general election. And UN calls for investigation into Israeli airstrike that killed 22 in Lebanon. Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today is Wednesday, October 16th, 2024. I'm your presenter, Shanique Harvey. Nationally, Prime Minister Honorable Dr. Terence Drew has urged health professionals, NGOs, and the private sector in St. Kitts and Nevis to collaborate more effectively in tackling the rising challenge of non-communicable diseases, or NCDs. In his address during the Global Week of Action on NCDs, running from October 15th to 22nd, Dr. Drew highlighted the alarming impact of NCDs, such as diabetes and hypertension, which were responsible for over 80% of deaths in the Federation between 2017 and 2021. Dr. Drew, who is also the Minister of Health, emphasized the need for immediate and comprehensive action to address what he termed the country's biggest public health problem. He announced the government's commitment to scaling up its NCD response through a wide-ranging approach that includes prevention, screening, early detection, and aggressive management to reduce the risk of complications like strokes and heart attacks. A key component of the government's strategy is the Global Hearts Program, which is being implemented across health centers in St. Kitts and Nevis. This initiative focuses on improving the prevention and control of hypertension, diabetes, and related complications such as heart failure. Additionally, the SKN Moves initiative, which encourages healthy lifestyles, will continue, along with the certification of the GNF General Hospital as a baby-friendly hospital. The Baby-Friendly Hospital initiative promotes exclusive breastfeeding for the first 6 months of life, as studies show that this can reduce the risk of developing NCDs in later life. Dr. Drew stressed the urgency of accelerating these public health interventions, noting that the nation's aging population makes it essential to address the growing NCD crisis. Looking ahead, the Ministry of Health will focus on strengthening community-based health services with an emphasis on primary care and expanding partnerships with local NGOs, the private sector, and regional partners to boost NCD prevention and control efforts. The observance of the Global Week for Action on NCDs will be used by the Ministry of Health to reinforce calls for stronger prevention and management measures across all sectors. Dr. Drew reaffirmed the government's commitment to improving public health and reducing the burden of NCDs in St. Kitts and Nevis. As the global community celebrates World Food Day 2024, St. Kitts and Nevis has joined the observance under the theme Right to Food for a Better Life and a Better Future. Minister of Agriculture, the Honorable Samuel Duggins, marked the occasion with a call to action, urging citizens to reflect on the importance of food security and the role everyone plays in building a resilient agricultural future for the nation. In his address, Minister Duggins underscored the significance of food beyond basic sustenance.
This is not just a day of reflection. It's a day that calls on us to act. It reminds us that food is more than just sustenance. It is the very foundation of our health, our economy, and our nation's future. In St. Kitts and Nevis, the right to food isn't merely a slogan. It's a national imperative. It's about ensuring that every man, woman, and child has access to safe, nutritious, and adequate food. Food that nourishes the body, fuels our potential, and strengthens the bonds of community. Agriculture and fisheries are the beating heart of this mission. They are the backbone of our nation's food system, providing jobs, sustaining livelihoods, and offering the fresh, locally sourced food that enriches our daily lives.
The minister also acknowledged the growing challenges of climate change, food price increases, and global disruptions, noting that these obstacles also present opportunities for transformation.
Our government is dedicated to fortifying this backbone. We have invested in initiatives aimed at boosting local food production, reducing our reliance on imports, and empowering small farmers and fishers with the tools and resources they need to thrive. From our greenhouse villages to the hatchery project and the pineapple sucker distribution, we are determined to build a resilient agricultural system that offers diverse, high-value crops. We are committed to fostering a renewed pride in farming and fishing as dynamic, rewarding careers for our youth. These initiatives are not just about boosting production, they are also about securing the future. They ensure that St. Kitts and Nevis can meet its own food needs, even in the face of global instability. They bring us closer to a vision where our plates are filled with food grown by our hands, and where our economy thrives on the bounty of our land and our seas.
While noting the progress made, Minister Duggins acknowledged that the journey toward food security is far from complete. We'll have more on the Minister's World Food Day address in our evening newscast. The highly anticipated Eat Local Fair will bring locally produced pork to the forefront today in celebration of World Food Day. The event, which is being held at Independence Square in Basse-Terre, St. Kitts, is part of a week-long series of activities organized by the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Marine Resources, in line with the Food and Agriculture Organization's global observance. The action was scheduled to begin at 11:30 a.m. today, and according to a statement issued by the ministry, it promises a culinary feast with locally sourced pork as its main attraction. The enticing aroma of smoked pork will fill the air, as fresh cuts will be available for sale at a reduced price of EC $4 per pound. This discount highlights the ministry's commitment to supporting local farmers and promoting food sustainability on the island. Ian Chapman, crop program leader and sub-chair of the Eat Local Fair Committee, said, quote, "This is a wonderful opportunity for us to showcase our world-class produce, and it gives our pig farmers, vendors, and food processors the chance to earn a living from the sale of their high-quality meat production and locally grown food," end quote. The Ministry of Agriculture encourages the public to attend the fair, which will not only feature top-quality pork, but also a wide array of homegrown produce, offering a true taste of St. Kitts' agricultural richness. The World Food Day celebrations will continue with several other key events. On Thursday, October 17th, a plant distribution ceremony will take place at the St. Christopher Children's Home, followed by the annual Farmers and Fishers Prize-giving ceremony. The week wraps up on Friday, October 18th, with a luncheon at the St. Christopher Outreach Center and a fish fry and seafood competition at the Old Road Fisheries Depot. For more information on these activities and how to participate, visit the Ministry of Agriculture's website or social media pages. We move now to news on the regional scene. Montserrat Electoral Commission has announced that 3,464 people have registered to participate in the upcoming general election. That figure represents 78.14% of Montserrat's population. The registration exercise ended on September 20th, and the list came into force on October 1st, in keeping with a proclamation by Governor Sarah Tucker. The divisions with the highest registered voter population are Braids and Salem at 694 and 617, while the lowest are St. John's and St. Peter's at 525 and 478 voters. 44 people have been registered for mobile polling. The Election Commission said the introduction of mobile or postal voting for people with disabilities, the elderly, and those in hospitals or other institutions is in keeping with a recommendation from the 2019 election observers. Elections in Montserrat will be on October 24th. And in other regional news, the small Caribbean island of Anguilla has been reaping the rewards of the artificial intelligence boom. Since the launch of ChatGPT nearly 2 years ago, demand for .ai domain names has skyrocketed, and Anguilla controls this address. Assigned the .ai domain in the 1990s, the island has seen its earnings from web registrations quadruple to $32 million last year, now accounting for 20% of its government revenue. Tech giants like Google and startups are rushing to secure .ai domains, with some selling for tens of thousands of dollars. Anguilla's government collects fees for every registration and renewal, currently set at $140 for 2 years. While the island's economy, known for its beautiful beaches and affluent tourists, is benefiting, many residents still face challenges. Premier Ellis Webster hopes Anguilla can eventually establish its own AI industry, emphasizing the luck involved in securing the .ai domain over nearby Antigua. Internationally, the United Nations has called for an independent investigation into an Israeli airstrike on an apartment building in northern Lebanon that killed at least 22 people, including women and children. The strike hit the village of Aito, far from Hezbollah's typical areas of influence, intensifying fears of a broader Israeli offensive. Spokesperson for the UN's Human Rights Office, Jeremy Lawrence, urging a thorough probe, said, quote, "We have real concerns regarding the laws of war," end quote. The Israeli military confirmed it targeted a Hezbollah site and is reviewing reports of civilian casualties. Rescue efforts continue, with more bodies recovered from the rubble, while Hezbollah vows to escalate its attacks on Israel unless airstrikes stop. And finally, in international news, leaders and top officials from an international group founded to counter Western alliances met in Pakistan's capital on Wednesday and called for enhanced cooperation in areas including security, trade, and health. They also called for boosting people-to-people contact and minimizing the impacts of climate change. The meeting of the China and Russia-founded Shanghai Cooperation Organization, or SCO, was held amid tight security in Islamabad and attended by leaders including the Chinese Premier, the Russian Prime Minister, the Indian External Affairs Minister, and the Prime Ministers of Kyrgyzstan, Belarus, Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, and Mongolia. SCO was founded in 2001 by China and Russia to counter Western alliances. Its members include Iran, India, Pakistan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, and Uzbekistan. In a joint statement, the SCO meeting said the heads of delegations have reaffirmed that the member states intend to further develop cooperation in the spheres of politics and security, trade, economy, finance and investment, and cultural and humanitarian ties in order to build a peaceful, safe, prosperous, and ecologically clean planet Earth to achieve harmonious coexistence of man and nature. It said leaders and officials from Belarus, Iran, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Pakistan, Russia, Tajikistan, and Uzbekistan had reaffirmed support for China's One Belt, One Road initiative. The meeting also vowed to cooperate on climate change and overcome its negative consequences. And now for the weather. Present weather is cloudy with slight dust haze. Winds are east-northeast to east at 9 to 17 miles per hour. The temperature for today is 30 degrees Celsius or 86 degrees Fahrenheit. Seas are 1.2 to 1.5 meters or 4 to 5 feet. Weather forecast for today and tonight predicts cloudy spells with showers. Sunset for today will be at 5:48 p.m. and sunrise for tomorrow will be at 6:04 a.m. And that brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. Thank you for tuning in. I'm your presenter, Shanique Harvey.